Hello, everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Happy new month to you all, guys. Can everyone hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay.
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, I just wanted to be sure that you can hear me. Welcome, guys. Thank you so much for the hard work, guys. Like, I was looking at the slides and some of the slides, and I'm like, man, these guys mean business. You guys have done a great job. And before anything, I want to applaud everyone that has put in some work into this thing. I like the fact that you guys didn't just put some things together and just come up here, but you guys have actually really done a great work. Thank you, guys. Thank you so very much. And I also want to thank all the mentors that are here. Thank you guys for being here. Okay, so I'm just going to briefly say talk about the rules of the contest itself. Like you guys have all read, it's 10 minutes. If you go more than 10 minutes, you would be 2 points will be deducted from your total scores. So try as much as possible to stay within the time frame. And also immediately the presenter is done, the mentors would start voting, and you send your vote through the chat room to Yusuf Awosanya. So I think I sent a mail with regards to that. Then at the end of today's session, would be eliminating 4 participants. Will not be going to the second round. So I hope everyone is ready.
Okay, so hello, can everyone hear me?
Yeah,
Yes, we can hear you.
All right, welcome everyone. Dr. Adejumoke will be hosting today, so she'll be hosting the entire. She'll be hosting the competition anyway. So I've seen some of the slides, and I must say, very, very commendable. You guys have done a great job, and I can't wait to listen to the presentations. So let's just get right into it so that we can quickly finish today, because we've got a lot of participants. So like she said, 10 minutes, you unfortunately be cut short so that we can manage our time today. So I will give the mentors 3 minutes to quickly send me their grades. And so the next participants can start their presentation. At the end of the whole presentation, we would have a general feedback, and you will know the participants that will be going further into the next phases. So the first presenter is Asiya, yeah? Asiya. Okay. So share. Hi, Asiya. Okay.
Yeah, hi.
All right, great. So let her open her slides, and then she can go ahead.
Sorry, quick one before we get started. Can you just clarify the grading system, or can you text me? I'm not sure I got it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I sent it to email, but I'll text you now.
Okay, that's fine. Okay.
All right. So Asia, try sharing your screen now.
Okay.
Or do
I'm
you
unable
want
to do that.
what's it saying there?
Okay, yeah.
Okay, good.
All right, good afternoon, everybody. Today I'm going to be presenting importance of money management as an African university student. My name is Asia Suleiman, and I'm a 200 level student from the Department of Economics, Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria, Kaduna, Nigeria.
Okay, we can't see your slide. Sorry.
Okay, I'm coming. Can you see it now?
No, still can't see it. Do you want me to share it for you from my hand? Okay, now I think it's
You
coming up.
want to
Yeah,
now?
it's coming up. It's coming up.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. All right then. Um, Many African students face massive financial stress, and this is due to lack of money management, which undermines academic success. And this is due to lack of money management, and it causes instability, mental instability, psychological instability, and a lot of things. Like remember when I also got admission into ABU and I was in 100 level, I suffered from a lot of lack of money management. Like I suffered a lot of this instability because I was unable to manage my money. And during anytime I'm studying, like during my study period, I would go to the back page of my book, and I would start writing, I would start jotting whatever I want to buy with my money. And at the end of the day, I zone off and I completely, lose out of the time I'm supposed to spend studying. So I was deliberate about changing the whole issue. I don't want to suffer from this instability, and I was religious about it. And I started thinking, how could I just manage my money effectively? So I knew what money is. That money is the medium by which earthly success is measured, and it makes possible the enjoyment of the best the earth can afford. And that money management is simply the process of four things: budgeting, saving, investing, and spending. During my 100 level days, I only knew that okay, it's only spending. I didn't know that okay, as a student, you can also budget and you can also save and invest. Then the sources of money for a student, you can have um, sources of income for a student loan, the tips you earn at work, family allowance, and scholarship fund. But for me, I only got the family allowance in my 100 level. I couldn't get access to scholarship and access to student loan. So I contacted my mentor and the few of the network I had that I need to get work. I need to have something doing. And so after about a few months, I got work and it added to the source of income. So I had family allowance, the one I collect from home, and the one I earn at work. So I learned about the three M's of money: that you have to make money, you have to multiply it, and you have to manage your money. And I was ready to play a long term game. Like I knew that I was ready to play a long term game, that I have this future orientation, that wealthy people, they don't actually have that wealth, just instantly. I have to build something, for a longer period. And I became religious about it. I started learning more about finance. I joined the investment society. I read a lot of books and I joined a lot of seminars just to be financially literate. Then I started planning about my finance. Like I thought about it. I had goals. Like, okay, when I get to 300 level, I should be counting like 5 figures in my bank account. And by that time, yeah, I should be financially free. Then I have to know about the three rules of money, the three laws of money. That money is plentiful for those who understand the simple rules of its acquisition. That there is money, and the only thing about it is just for you to understand the law, just for you to understand the rule guiding its acquisition. The first law is that I have to start pursuing my purse to fatten, and that was how I got to connect with my mentor and the network I had. I need a job and I have to increase my source of income. The second law is that I had to control my expenditure. The fact that I have two income doesn't mean that I have to start spending anyhow. I have to budget my expenses and I have to pay my bills. I don't have lots of responsibility on me, and so I do not have to owe people or to be in huge debt. And I made sure that 9/10 of my earning was what I spend on. 9/10 of more, I don't go more than that. So 9/10 of my earning is what I spend on. The third law is that I have to make my money multiply. I have two sources of income. So I spend 9/10 of my money and 1/10 of my money goes into my savings account. I made sure that I save 1/10 of my money every month and not more than or not less than 1/10 of my money into my account. And the fourth law is that I have to guide my treasures from loss. Because I have money in my bank account, I cannot keep it just like lying low there, because a lot of things is happening, especially in Nigeria. The macroeconomic variable is not favorable. So I cannot just leave my money there. And misfortune loves a shiny mark. I must guide my money, else I will lose it. So I have to consult my mentor and I have to tell her that I have this amount in my bank account and I have to invest it. So she connected with me with some guys, and my principal is safe and I can even reclaim it if I desire. The fifth law is that I have to ensure a future income. I'm not going to spend all my life in school, and I have to provide in advance my growing age. So I knew that okay, when I finish school, I'll have this certain amount and I would invest. I'll have the business plan in my head, and right I finish school, I'll just start my business. Then the last law is that I have to increase my ability to earn. A lot of things, a lot of skills are out there that I have to earn, and so I have to work hard to cultivate my own power and ability. And I need to study and become more wiser, to become skillful, and to acquire that confidence to achieve goals. I have to be bold to achieve that goals. And yeah, today I don't go to the back of my book to start jotting down how I want to manage my money or zone off while studying. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Asia. Um, your presentation was just in time, which is on a good start. Okay, so I'm going to give mentors 3 minutes to please send their gradings and feedback to Dewale. Please tag Dewale directly. You don't have to put it on the group, so we can collect the grades anonymously at the end of the session. You can start sending in your grades, the gradings now, please. Thank you very much, Asia. It was a very wonderful presentation. Thank you very much. Our next presenter will be James Egbo. Are you ready, James? Do you want to project your screen, or you want me to project your screen for you?
I can share screen.
From there, okay. All right, I'm just going to give you 2 minutes get ready while the mentors send in their grades, then we can kick off from you.
Okay.
Okay, thank you very much. To save time, because we have a long way to go. All right, James, you can begin.
Okay. Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Egbo James Tejiri. I'm a student of Bingham University, Nigeria.
James, sorry, hold on a minute. Hold on a minute. Give me a minute.
Sorry, James, just give me 2 minutes. Just waiting for 2 more mentors. Sorry. Read on.
Okay.
Read on. Hello? Can anyone
Yes.
hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, yeah. You can go on now. Yeah. I've got the final one. Yeah, go on.
My name is Igbo James Tejiri, a student of Bingham University, Nigeria. And I'm presenting on the topic personal finance. First of all, what is personal finance? It's the managerial ability of an individual to budget, save, and spend monetary devices over time. That is the ability of us as individuals to plan our money, to budget, and to save it, and how well we spend it in the given time we're meant to use the money. Why is it important for us as individuals to be able to manage our personal finances? Is that it aids us to properly keep track of our finances and have a healthy finance plan and use our money to the very max, no matter how little it is. There are several steps which if we follow, we'll be able to do this very well. And I'll be making references to the book Richest Man in Babylon, where I got most of my points from. The first step is to pay yourself first, also referred to as saving. But then, in the context which I'm trying to explain, I'll refer to it as paying yourself first. This is when you, as an individual, when you gain your income, you don't just squander it by paying other people and giving them the money. You first have to take at least 1/10 of your income. That's the money, whatever amount you're gaining. 1/10 of it should be saved for personal development. Personal development means things that you know will be of use to you in the future. For instance, investments and everything which you know will affect you in the nearest future. The second step is to create a budget. A budget is a plan you make. You take into record everything that you spend your money on in the course of the period of time that money is meant to last you. So you have to create a budget, a proper budget of everything you are going to use the money for and how it's going to be spent. And this will help you in the saving process that I mentioned earlier. Once you create a budget, you'll find out that you'll be able to find a way to set aside an amount of money because you've already planned out everything in your budget. As it was written in the book Richest Man in Babylon, it said that anyone who has a budget will be able to set out everything from urgent needs to the things which you yourself just want to get for yourself. You'll be able to set that out with a good budget plan. The third step is to organize your expenditures in order of importance. We find out that most of us as individuals, when we get our money, we don't take our time to settle down and organize it how it's meant to be spent. We just, as the expenditures come, we let the money go. And with time, we realize that we've already run out of funds when it's not even the appropriate time yet. So it's important for us, number one, to get a plan, organize yourself in such a way that you know what is worth spending money on and what you shouldn't be bothered about, which will help you in your saving also and creating a budget. The third step is to avoid building debts as much as possible. Because most of us, we find out that when we want to do something and then the funds are not available, we look for the easiest way to get the money available and do that thing. And we find out that most of the time, this thing might not actually be as urgent as it needs to be. But then because of we've not planned our budget and we don't know what exactly is meant to be carried as important, we carry the money and then we use it to do what we want to do. So by the time you get your next income, you find out that you're never at. Hello?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, sorry, my network went off for a moment. Okay, so the fourth step is to avoid building debt as much as possible. People tend to spend their money before they earn it. We find out that as individuals, when we earn our money and then we already have someone we are owing because we borrowed the money to do something that we thought was urgent at that point in time. By the time we get our income, it's no longer income because you still have to pay back the people that you borrowed from. And this tends to just become an unnecessarily long chain of increasing loss because you never get the money which you think you're going to get. You keep borrowing and it never is never enough. The fifth and last step is to make a habit of the money you save, the percentage of the income you save, that's 1/10 of everything you gain. You have to put it aside and create a plan for that money because you cannot just have money and keep it one side and say, okay, it's going to be used in the future. You have to make a plan for it. As to reference in the book, we should have a plan for everything, every money we gain, because money is a faithful servant for those who know how to use it. Because if you don't use money well, it just comes and goes out of your hand and it just continues like that. So you have to make it your slave. You have to make it work for you, reproduce. And the more it produces, you keep putting in investing more money back in as time goes on. And then you realize that your your income rate is increasing. And soon enough you get a second source of income. And with time you realize that your monetary problems are beginning to go away because the money you have, instead of reducing, is increasing over time. And the more it increases, the better it is for you. By following these steps, you find out that you can gain a healthy financial, personal finance life. And I urge each and every one of us to try as much as possible to follow these steps and get out of any financial crisis situation we're going through. Thank you for listening.
Thank you very much, James. You are just in time. Thank you so much for the presentation. That was a wonderful presentation. So can we have judges send their gradings to Dewale? Sheriff is up next. So would you like me to help you share your screen or to project your slides, or you want to project it yourself?
Yeah, I would like you to project my slides for me.
Okay. All right. I'm going to give the mentors 3 minutes to send their gradings to Dewale. So while I allow you prepare for your presentation. A few more minutes. All right. Ready?
Yeah.
All right. Here you go.
Yeah. Good evening. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Hussein Sharif. I'm a student at the University of Ilorin, Kwara State, Nigeria, and I'll be talking about impact of investment on students' personal finance. So, what is an investment? An investment is just an asset or item acquired with the goal of generating income or appreciation. Appreciation refers to an increase in the value of an asset over time. So, um, so investors may purchase a monetary asset now with the idea that the asset will provide income in future. That is, the assets would appreciate over time, which means probably the money they put in buying that asset would increase over time, and not in every cases, not in all cases. Investment can be what you get from, can be the profit or loss you get from buying an asset or acquiring an asset. So that's basically what investments mean. So in general, just any action that is taken in hopes of raising future revenue can also be considered an investment. For example, when choosing to pursue additional education, the goal is often to increase knowledge and improve skills in the hopes of ultimately producing more income. That's basically what investment means. So I'll move to types of investments. There are various types of investments that we can actually go into. The first one is stocks. Stocks are also known as shares, equities, annuities. They are all the same thing. It's just the language. Each country has its own system. For example, now in the US, it's known as um shares. I think shares, yeah. And in the UK, it's known as stocks. So stocks, shares, equities are known as the same thing. This they are the well known, like is the most popular and simple type of investment. Everyone knows what stocks is, and since there are various companies around, various industries around, so almost everyone knows what stock is. Once you say, okay, I want to invest, the first thing that comes to most people mind is, okay, probably you want to buy stocks in a company, you want to buy shares in a company or something. And when you buy stocks, you are buying an ownership stake in a publicly traded company. Many of the biggest companies in the country, think like car companies, like let me go outside the country, like Apple, Facebook. There are a lot of people with shares under them. People buy stocks, get shares under them. The next one are bonds. When bond is also related to stocks, but I think just a little bit of difference. When you buy a bond, you are essentially lending money to an entity. Generally, this is a business or a government entity. That means you are lending money to a business or an entity. Bonds can be okay. For example, you leave money inside your bank account. Then your bank takes the money and lends other people for business. So the interest they get from whatever those people bring back, you also get a bit out of that interest. That is more like bond. While the money is being lent, the lender gets interest payment after there is actually a contract in place. Sorry, I'm going too fast. The next one are mutual funds. A mutual fund is a pool of many investors, money that is invested broadly in a number of companies. Mutual funds can actually be managed or passively managed. Can be actively managed or passively managed. An actively managed fund has a fund manager who picks securities in which to put investors money in which to put investors money. Sorry. Fund managers often try to beat a designated market index by choosing investments that will outperform such an index. A passively managed fund, also known as index fund, simply tracks a major stock. So market, sorry. Then I would Mutual funds carry many of the same risk as stocks and bonds, depending on what they are invested in. The risk is often lesser on mutual funds, though because the investments are inherently diversified. So the next one will be exchange traded funds, ETFs. ETFs are similar to mutual funds in that they are a collection of investments that tracks a market index. Unlike mutual funds, which are purchased through a fund company, shares of ETFs are bought and sold on the stock market. Their price fluctuates throughout the trading day, whereas mutual funds value is simply the net asset value of your investment, which is calculated at the end of each trading session. ETFs are often recommended to new investors because they are more diversified than individual stocks. You can further minimize risk by choosing an ETF that tracks a broad index. So the next is annuity, like I mentioned before, annuities, stocks, bonds. Many people use annuities as part of their retirement savings plan. When you buy an annuity, you purchase an insurance policy and in return, you get periodic payments. Annuities come in numerous varieties. They may last until death or only for a predetermined period of time. They may require periodic premium payments or just one upfront payment. They may be linked partially to the stock market or they may simply be an insurance policy with no direct link to the market. Payments will be immediate or deferred to a specific date. They may be fixed or variable. While annuities are fairly low risk, they aren't high growth. They make a good supplement to retirement savings rather than an integral source of funding. Then I'll move to cryptocurrencies. This one is popular a lot. It's very, very popular. It's like everywhere. Like cryptocurrency, when you say you are into Bitcoin, Ethereum, and the likes. So cryptocurrencies is like everywhere. We use cryptocurrencies presently now. I think the most accepted, the global accepted form of payment, like is the most used form of payment in the world presently. Those are cryptocurrencies, which are Bitcoin and Ethereum, like I mentioned before. Those are a fairly new investment option. Bitcoin is the like most famous cryptocurrency, but there are countless other because such as Litecoin and Ethereum. Ethereum is even now getting an edge. Like in a few years now, I think Ethereum should be as high as Bitcoin is because the rate at which Ethereum is moving this is alarming. Cryptocurrencies are digital currencies that don't have any government backing. You can buy and sell them on cryptocurrency exchanges. Some retailers will even let you make purchases with them. Cryptos often have wide penetration, making them a very risky investment. Investing in cryptocurrencies, investing in cryptocurrencies for students is very, very, very risky. And but because the return on investing in cryptocurrencies is high, but then we don't actually think of the the other side, the negative aspect of investing in cryptocurrency. So students mostly just invest like when I have this money, okay, since Bitcoin is probably $45,000 today, then with the way we'll check the flow of the last of recent times, then with the way it's moving, they'll just assume okay, in the next probably days or weeks, it should increase. Meanwhile, we may be wrong in most cases. In most cases, we are mostly wrong because crypto, like I said earlier, it fluctuates. So no one can actually say if it's going to go higher, or then it should go back to its original form. That is, go lower than what it is before. So investing in cryptocurrency is very risky. So the next one are commodities. Commodities are physical products that you can invest in. They are common in futures markets where producers and commercial buyers, in other words, professionals, seek to hedge their financial stake in the commodities. Retail investors should make sure they thoroughly understand futures before investing in them. Partly that's because commodity investing runs the risk that the price of a commodity will move sharply and abruptly in either direction. There are four main types of commodities. We have metals, agriculture, livestock, and meat and energy. Metal is just investing in metal like gold and silver and industrial metal like copper. Agriculture includes wheat, corn, soybeans, and everything like that. Livestock are just investing in cattle, rearing, pork, pig, and everything. Energy, that is crude oil, petroleum, and natural gas. Then next, I'll be moving to the slides.
Okay, your time is fast spent, so I'm going to just give you 2 minutes for you to round up for the remaining slides.
So basically, with everything I said, I think the best place we can invest our money as a student is putting our money in the bank, like I mentioned earlier. Putting our money in the bank, they give once our money is at the bank and they lend money out, and the interest the bank gets, they give us a little bit. Investing and things arts, wine and collectibles, like that is self into properties, probably like real estate or something like that. Look into bonds, like I mentioned earlier. Stock shares are the equity. I've talked about that as well. And then I'll be moving. I'm moving to impact of early investment of students, gain financial independence, investing for students. Like most students are still gaining are still getting fees from home. That is like monthly allowance or something. It can never be enough because the standard of the cost of living every day is getting higher in this country. So students actually need to invest and gain an edge over like be able to live our daily. Okay.
Sheriff, can you give us your last few words? Time is fast spent.
Yeah. So
Can you round up, please?
in conclusion, I think by now I guess you have decided to invest your money and are aware of importance of early investment as a student. Next step is finding out how to go about investing and not make mistakes, and that's that's all.
Thank you very much, Sheriff, for that presentation. Thank you very much. Although you went above your time, I'm going to let the mentors to send in their grades now. So yeah, but that was a good try. So the fourth presenter is Musa. Musa, are you ready for me? Do you want me to project your slides or you want to project your slide yourself?
I will project it myself.
All right, that's good. Okay, so we're
Thank
going to
you.
give the mentors 2 minutes while you also prepare yourself for them to vote in their. Okay. Can I ask mentor Adetayo Julius, please, can you send your gradings directly to Dewale so that we don't want to bash anybody on the chat. We don't want to give direct negative comment to anybody. So if you can send your feedbacks and your gradings to Dewale, so they just send a direct message to him so that he can write them down. Then would send them all your feedbacks personally. So Dewale, are we ready for Musa? Okay. Musa, give the mentors like 2 minutes for them to send Sheriff's grades in.
All right. Let me use the former one.
Okay, Musa, go on.
All right. Hello, everyone. My name is Musa Adamal Kasim, a penultimate undergraduate of Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria, studying international studies. So my topic of discussion today is personal finance, test of financial rationality. Do you know that according to National Endowment for Financial Education, only 24% of millennials have been able to demonstrate financial literacy? Perhaps you may be wondering why. I will tell you the reason now. But before I do that, let's meet Hassana. Hassana is a final year student. Is a final year student. Is an international student at um Chicago, Illinois University. And just like every other student in her level, she begins to think about what's next after I graduate. While in school, Asana is a self-motivated and ambitious student. She not only engage in academics, she also engage in some other freelancing jobs, which generates about $400 to $500 for her monthly. Out of this, she uses a part of this money to settle her student loan and also keep some as a disposable income. Now she is thinking of um how can she achieve her childhood dream of building a career in the academics? So from her research, she realized that she need at least an average of $45,487 to pursue a graduate studies. Now, she needs to decide, should she first of all pay off her student loan before start saving for postgraduates? Which should she do first? Now, let's look at, before deciding that, she decides to look at her expenses, which will determine which of the options she's going to go for. So looking at her expenses, we can see that she has a loan of 5,000, she has a loan interest of $5,579, and she needs to complete a balance of $2,500 with an annual interest of 7.77% that spans across 10 years. Now, out of that, she makes a minimum monthly payment of $65 every month, which reduces the amount of years she will use in settling the interest on the loan from 10 years to 3 years with an expected interest of 2,799. Having a look at the expenses, now let's look at the possible options she has. The first one is she's thinking about, okay, how about I add my disposable income, which is $150 to the student loan, which will further reduce the time she will use in servicing her student loan to 12 months, and the interest will become 2,642. And the second option she's thinking about is how about I save for my postgraduate studies. Now, if she's still for her postgraduate studies, she's thinking of adding the disposable income of $150 she has to her savings account, which will result in 11,346 within a span of 3 years. Now, she considered certain factors. The first factor she's considering is the interest cost. That is the amount it will cost her if she's servicing her interest. Then the interest she's going to earn on the amount of money she will be saving. After that, she decides to look at these three options critically to see if which of them she's actually going to go for after considering those factors. The first option here is that she's thinking of either she's continue paying her minimum monthly payment of $65 and adding her disposable income to just the savings account, or how about she just add both her disposable income and she add her disposable income to the $65 she's already having, so that she'll be able to complete paying her loan faster. Then there's another third option she's thinking about, that which is how about she splits her disposable income by putting small of it in servicing her loan and putting the remaining ones in savings. Now, let's look at what Hassana eventually did. Hassana decided to adopt the third option, just like every rational being. The reason why she did is because there are some there are some factors she put into consideration before choosing this third option. Let's look at those options. Now, the first thing is she thinks that there's a need for emergency fund. Due to some, when as a human being, there are certain circumstances that come up and we need you to kind of settle them. There will be emergency. So she's thinking that if I don't have any savings, how will I be able to address such an emergency situation? So there's a need for her to have an emergency fund. Then, secondly, this is very, very important. She needs to get out of debt, because if she doesn't get out of debt, there's no how she'll be able to continue living her life comfortably. Then, thirdly, which is one of the major factors that even made her choose the third option, is that this will give her the opportunity to achieve two things at the same time. She will be saving, and at the same time she'll be servicing her debt. Now, for me, as a student of, as a member of a student finance club, the investment society, and also a mentee of the Daytopia mentoring session, who has undergone personal finance training, from my experience, I'm going to make the following recommendations to Hasana. If I'm in Hasana's shoe, instead of me saving the money or splitting it, I would rather take my disposable income and invest it in an S&P 500 index fund, because as at last year, when everything was at standstill, S&P 500 was still able to kind of bring a return of over 16%. Then I will put in 30% of that money into investment stocks, into investment application stocks such as Trove and Cowrywise and the rest. Then 15% will be put into a mutual fund, and I will put the remaining 5% into a high yield savings account. Me diversifying this my investments at least will save me, it will kind of increase um the amount of money I will be expecting in the next 3 years, instead of just saving it in a savings account. Now, what is the major rationale behind me choosing to invest rather than save? There are two, the reasons behind these are too numerous to be enumerated, but I'm going to tell you one of them. The major one there is that any money you keep in the bank is usually at the mercy of inflation, because inflation usually determines the value of such money. Now, I would like you to remember that financial literacy, in conclusion, I'd like you to remember that financial literacy can make all the difference you need in your money management and future wealth. So there's a need for us all to have this financial literacy. So this is the reason why all millennials need to ensure that they have they have the knowledge of personal finance for them to be able to make rational decisions. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Musa. That was a wonderful presentation. Thank you very, 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 very much. Okay, I'm going to give the mentors 3 minutes to send in their grades for Musa. Musa, thank you for your time. This was good. Um, so we have Lukman Yusuf up next. Lukman, are you ready?
Alaikum salam.
Do you want me to
And
project
I
your?
don't have to.
Do you want me to
I'll
project your?
share the slide myself.
Okay, that's perfect. That's perfect. Okay. While you prepare for your presentation, I'm going to give the mentors 3 minutes to get Musa's grades across to Diwali. Thank you. Okay, Diwali, are you guys ready? Are you ready for Lukman? All right, Lukman, you can start now.
All right. Good day, everyone. My name is Lukman Yusuf Alabi, a sophomore student of Ahmadu Bello University Zaria, Department of Insurance and Actuarial Science. I'll be discussing on the negative influence of human behaviors on personal finance. So I'll start by letting us or telling us what personal finance is. So basically, personal finance, according to Corporate Finance Institute, is the process of planning and managing personal finance activities such as income generation, spending, savings, and whatever. But based on my own perspective, I will just give a brief meaning of what personal finance is. Personal finance simply means self-economics. That is the means or the medium in which someone is able to effectively manage their finances, that is their income, their savings, and their investments in order to cater for their welfare and financial needs. So let's look at the assumption of economics. Based on the study of economics, it is assumed, those who know economics very well, it is assumed that every human is rational. Every human being is rational. That is, they're rational with their income, they're rational with their spending, they're rational with their savings, and they're also rational with their investments. But in reality, most humans are either irrational or normal. If truly human beings are actually rational, as the economics say, then we'll have less poverty level, we'll have less reckless spenders, and we'll have investors smiling to their portfolios. But unfortunately, that's not the reality. So personal finance basically, just as as the name implies, has to do with behavior. And we want to look at how human interact with how human behavior interacts with their personal finance. And that is the focus of our discussion today. So basically, before we begin, what is behavior? Behavior is how someone reacts to a situation or a condition or his immediate environment. And let's take, for example, I slapped Mr. A, and we want to know how Mr. A will react. Mr. A might probably slap me back. I might decide to slap Mr. B, and Mr. B might decide to cry. I might slap Mr. C, and Mr. C might just go and get himself a drink or a champagne just to cool down his mind. So people react differently to situations or circumstances surrounding them. And that is how people react when it comes to their finances also. Sometimes when someone feels bad over something, or probably when you're bored or you're lonely, you might decide to consume more. And when you consume more, you spend more money on finances. So let's assume, okay, someone is lonely and someone is bored and doesn't have anything to do. You notice that they tend to eat more. And when they eat more, they spend more also. So behavior has a lot to do with personal finance. Now, based on the words of Dave Ramsey, he said personal finance is 80% behavior and only 20% head knowledge. I think this should be understood, because whatever how you manage your finance depends on your behavior to a large extent. Now let's look at the words of Charles A. Jaffe, which says it's not your salary that makes you rich, it is your spending habit. So these quotes basically stress the needs or the importance of behavior in managing personal finance. So now let's look at behaviors. Let's quickly look at behaviors that negatively influence personal finance. One, we have the bandwagon effect. That is the tendency to do what other people do. And this can influence the way in which you spend money. Just because someone is spending on, let's say, people are using the latest iPhone 12 Pro, and you've seen everybody using it, posting it on their social media status, you decide, okay, I also want to buy iPhone 12 Pro, even though you can't actually afford it. So bandwagon effect is there because it makes you spend money which you do not intend to spend. So we also have emotions. Emotions have a long way to go in how someone manages his personal finance. Sometimes someone might be angry and decide to, spend more because he's angry, or go take a drink, or go, take alcohol or smoke. So all of this tends to influence your personal finance. Also, risk aversion. Some people are not the risk-taking type. So they don't want to take risks. They believe that, okay, they can't spend $5 to earn $5. You understand? They don't want to risk anything to gain anything. So that will affect your income source. Love for luxury, kind of similar to bandwagon effect, although very different, because your love for luxury might tend to influence how you spend money. If you love luxury things, basically maybe you just need a pencil, but you decide to go and buy a designer pencil because you want to actually show off. So this tends to affect the way your personal finance. And also addiction. Your addiction has a long way to go. No matter what your addiction is, you will definitely spend some amount of money on addiction. Probably your addiction is if your addiction is drinking, you'll spend money on drinking. If your addiction is gaming, you'll spend money purchasing the latest PS5 and whatsoever. So now let's quickly look at how they influence your personal finance. Bandwagon effects tends to make you a slave to the opinion of others. You end up spending what you don't need and investing in options that doesn't fit your goals. How does your emotions influence your personal finance? Acting on their emotions influences the way in which you disperse money without logical reasoning. Probably because you're angry, you will not think well, you just go on spending money because you're angry. So now let's look at addiction. Addiction, when you're addicted, just like I've explained before, you tend to spend on things that are not really necessary, but because you are addicted to those things, you just have to spend for it. So it's the same for risk averse. When you're not willing to take risks, then you definitely have a lot to lose, because to make a gain or to gain something, you have to sacrifice. Also, love for luxury will rob you of your savings and prevent you from investing and make you stack pile of junk materials. You notice that you have a wardrobe full of things you don't need. So now, based on behavioral economics, it's kind of related to personal finance also. It kind of tells us why people make bad financial decisions. And one of it is we have the conscious brain and the subconscious brain, which can also be translated as the slow brain and fast brain. Let me quickly talk on this because of time. Slow brain allows you to think before making decision, but fast brain, you don't actually take your time to think. You just react to your immediate environment. Probably you're going to shop in a mall and you saw a promotion which says, okay, if you buy this, you get 15% discount. You see, you just decide to go and spend money on that because you feel that you want to get that discount. So you are reacting with your fast brain in that instance. So those are the reasons why people tend to make bad decisions. So now let's quickly look at the last part, which is how to break away from negative behavioral influence. Always work with a budget. This will help you keep track of your spending by all means, and you will not spend out of your budget. Also, build confidence. You are unique and you're different. Don't let the opinion of others define you. Don't say because people are doing this, you want to also do that. So you have to be unique and you have to build confidence in yourself. Also, you have to be disciplined. State clearly your priorities, give yourself enough reasons to achieve them, and remain focused. Don't let anyone tell you, okay, this is what, if it's to seek advice, it's permitted to seek advice, but don't let others' decision influence you, because you have your own source of income. You know your worth, you know how much you earn. So you can only determine where your savings will go to. Also, understand your brain. Figure out whether you have the fast brain or you have the slow brain. Understand yourself and know how to react when such situations are presented before you. Also, learn to seek advice. Nobody knows it all. When you want to make an investment or you want to make an investment decision, seek advice from people who are already in the field and who already have vast knowledge on that particular stuff you're planning to invest in. So I'm going to conclude with a quote from Sus Osman, which says, most of us value things than we value money, which is why most of us have more things in our closet and cupboards than we do have in our bank accounts. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Lukman. Thank you very much. Just your presentation was just in time, and it was a very wonderful presentation. Okay, so I'm going to allow the mentors to send in their gradings and their comments. So we would be collating all the comments and be sending them to you personally. We just don't want anyone to feel individually attacked on the platform, and that's why it's more of a competition than and we don't have any plans of making anybody feel bad or anything. Okay, so Azana is going to be next. Azana, do you want to project your slides yourself?
Preferably, I'll prefer you to project it.
Okay. Okay. while we wait for the mentors to send in their grades, you can get ready for your presentation. I'll put your slides up too.
When she says go, I'm gonna start.
Okay, Dewale, are the mentors ready? All right, Azana, we're ready for you. Your time start now.
All right. Good day. My name is Hassana Rama, a student of the Department of Industrial Design, Madbele University, Zaria. Okay, and my topic is impact of budgeting on personal finance among student entrepreneurs. So here, talking about, sorry, next, please. Okay, my word, okay. Okay, I said personal finance. This is what covers managing your money as well as saving and investing. It encompasses budgeting, banking, insurance, mortgages, investments, retirement plan, and tax and estate planning, sorry. So budgeting, my focus point here will be the most important aspect of personal finance, which is budgeting. Budgeting is the process of creating a plan to spend your money. This is simply balancing your expenses with your income. It's just creating the balance. It's like a gauge of balancing your expenses and your income. Then what makes budgeting so important? Since it allows you to create a spending plan, it ensures that you always have enough things you need that are important to you. A budgeting plan also keep you out of debt. That is, it keeps you out of the red. Let me make a little emphasis on that. Okay, I'm a student and then I own a business, a graphic design business. And then I was in a lot of debt during my 200 level because my department is financially demanding. We had to do a lot of practicals, a lot of buying of sketch pad, paper, and just drawing instruments basically. And then I wasn't coming from a well-to-do family. So I had to make this money myself in order to achieve those money requirements for my department. So I was in a lot of debt at a 200 level first semester. I was in a lot of debt. And then I needed to create a budget that needs to get me out of those debts. So it really helps keeping you out of the red. So, and I said, it improves your decision making. Yeah, because then I was deciding whether to get this or that. Due to my department, it was really hard making decisions. But then when I started budgeting, it was really good for me because I was able to, okay, this is what I need. It increases, like it was like a scale of preference for me. And then I'll be like, okay, I need this first, I need this, just a scale of preference. So it really increases your decision making. It makes you good at it. Then next, and I said, as an entrepreneur, it's important to have a good grasp of personal finance and being a student at the same time. So there are a lot of challenges that goes with it because a lot of people have financial illiteracy. So it's really not difficult. And then it's due to ignorance and all. People don't really know a lot about financial and how to separate your business. That is your personal finance from your business finance. You really need to create the margin there so that it helps you a lot. So I said it guides and tracks the finance of student entrepreneurs. It guides you because it gives you self-discipline. You'll be able to discipline yourself. Okay, I need to get this. I rather stay away from this in order to achieve that. I don't know if you understand. So that is what I went through during my 200 level. Sorry, I'm having a little bit of glitch here. Okay, so the next one, I'm imploring student entrepreneurs to begin budgeting. Budgeting helps to plan for the long term. It helps your funding planning. It helps to plan funds for both personal and business needs. It helps to decide the most worthwhile use of your limited cash. It helps to evaluate financial goals and performances. And then budgeting helps me review the profitability of my business, like how profitable my business was going to be. It really helped me improve it because my business is more of a service. I'm rendering service designing. So it was really difficult getting my gain because it's not like I'm buying and selling. So the service I was rendering. So there was this difficulty in getting your gain out and then making a balance within the money you can spend and the money you can't spend. Then I'm going to leave budgeting tips for student entrepreneurs. Sorry, please, next. Okay, here are some few budgeting tips. I said, always separate your personal and business finance. All business transactions within your organization should be carried out with your business finances only. Don't use your personal finance or like the money they sent you from home. Don't use it to settle your business finances. And then vice versa, don't use your business finances to settle your personal finance. There will be this, at the end of the day, you'll find yourself struggling to come out of it because you might end up falling into debt. So, whilst you might be tempted actually to quickly borrow from your business money or borrow from your finance, from your personal finance, but just try to work hard and then don't feel tempted to touch your personal money to settle business needs and then to touch your business needs to settle vice versa actually. So then I said be realistic about your budget. Okay, there was this period I wanted to get a laptop because the one I was using before wasn't good. And then I had this particular one I really preferred. But then my budgets couldn't, the amount of gain I've made in my business wasn't enough for me to buy the laptop I preferred. So I went for a substitute, which was really, it had the same processing unit and then it could do as much work as the other one I wanted, sorry. So basically just be realistic with your budget. Don't go overboard. Don't say, okay, I want to budget for a car when you know you can't actually afford a car at that moment. So be very realistic with your budget. Differentiate between needs and wants. I need to differentiate between needs and wants because there are some things you might need desperately and there's some things you might just want. I don't like this. This would be a very let me make more emphasis on this. So okay, needs and wants. Needs are something that you basically can't do without them. You actually need them. But wants are just your desires, something you are longing for, something you just want to have because you feel like, oh, I think I need this. But really, your needs are what you can't do without, like your food, your taxes, your bills. You need to actually budget for these things first off before you start tackling your wants. So I said, keep all your bills and receipts organized. You don't want to whereby you're trying to get your financial record or work, okay, how you spent your money this month, and then you start looking for one thing or the other. Keep your bills organized, keep your receipts organized. So, and I said, align your budget with your goals and values. That is, okay, let's say my goal this year actually is to get a printer. And then the printer cost about, fairly used one, it cost about 800,000 naira. And then I've aligned, okay, this year, what is my budget? I need to plan my gain and how I'm going to use the gain, and then how I'm going to use it for things that are urgent, that's emergency funds, and then things that my school fees, my school requirements, so I had to plan it and then still be able to save up. And probably I went into some investments lately, and then I'm expecting returns from the investments. So I've actually aligned my budget with my goals. So I think I'll stop here. Thank you so much for listening.
Thank you so much, Azana. That was a wonderful presentation, and it was just right in time. Thank you very, very much for your time. Thank you for being here. We appreciate you guys. So, based on um, some technical issues, some people were actually will not be presenting. Okay, so and that includes Bolanle. Our next presenter is Khalid.
Yeah.
Will be presenting. Sorry, I didn't even know. I was actually talking. I didn't know I was muted. Okay, thank you very much, Azana, for the presentation. It was right in time and it was well done. So I was saying that based on some technical and logistics and personal issues, some people were actually removed from the competition. So one of those people is Bolanle. So the next presenter will be Khalid. Presenting now. While we wait for mentors to send in their presentation, Khalid, are you ready for us? Do you want me to project your slides or you like to project it yourself?
I would like you to project the slide.
Okay. All right. I'm just gonna give the mentors 2 minutes to send in their presentation and their gradings for Azana, and then I'll let you know when to start. Thank you. Okay, Dewali, are you ready for Khalid? Okay. All right, Khalid, we're ready for you. So I'm going to share my screen now.
Okay.
There you go.
All right. Thank you. Hi everybody, good afternoon. My name is Abdulkadir Salih. Previous slide, please. Yeah. My name is Abdulkadir Salih. I'm a student of economics from Ahmadu Bello University. I'm a Daytopia mentee. Next slide, please. So my topic is the view of personal finance from the perspective of millennials. So the reason for this topic is that normally we have this generational gap, and so we don't expect personal finance from the angle of a baby boomer, which is the generation before the millennials, is pretty much different. The ideologies might be a little bit different. That's why I decided to be a little bit more specific and focus on millennials. Next slide, please. Okay, so next slide, please. Okay, so millennials are individuals that fall within the age that were born between the age period of 1981 to 1996. That is, please, next slide. I can't see the next slide. All right, thanks. They're born between the years of 1981 and 1996. So it's an argument actually. Some scholars will say 1981 to year 2000, but more generally, most scholars agree with the age of 1981 to 1996. And so the characteristics of millennials are that they're technologically smart, they are politically, socially, and culturally aware. A typical example is the NSAS protest we happened recently in Nigeria. And the millennials are much educated than previous generations. They are globally minded and they embrace diversity and inclusion, and they push more for social justice. I would explain better on this in subsequent slide. And majority of millennials are pretty much entrepreneurial in nature. They want to work for themselves. And again, they are also very flexible. They're able to work from home. They're able to switch jobs. They're able to do multitask and a couple of things. Next slide, please. Okay, so generally I need to define the concept. So what's personal finance? Personal finance are all activities that revolves around your personal income, your total personal income, your expenses, your savings, investing, and then protection in terms of saving for the future days. And so the reason why we're actually very much interested in personal finance is because of financial stability, which is generally defined as when an individual is able to cater for his financial needs and also have access to invest for a couple of time. Next slide, please. Okay, so I'll highlight the basic money habits of millennials. So just like I said earlier, millennials are pretty much different from their money habits are pretty much different from previous generations. And also because of economic fallouts, we talk of the financial crisis of year 2007 and 8, COVID-19. Millennials have grown with the mindset that whatever happens in different countries has a contagious effect. And so whatever happens in another country has a possibility of it replicating in another country, or it's able to circulate. And so millennials have the mindset, when it comes to investment, they have this mindset of investing globally. So also, millennials also have the tendencies to want to have the same accessories with their peers. Say if their friends is riding a Lamborghini, for example, has an iPhone 12, they want to have similar gadgets. And lastly, 3/4 of millennials also prefer to, you know, a couple of millennials also prefer to, okay, they prefer to obey, they don't necessarily obey the advice given to them by investment professionals or financial advisors or parents. They are able to go a little more ahead by doing more research, and this is possible because of how much information they have at their fingertip. Next slide, please. Okay, so what do we take out of the habits which I mentioned earlier in the previous slide? So as a millennial, it's more like an personal finance tip. As a millennial, when you're investing, think global. Because I give an example with COVID-19. When things happen for example, COVID-19 started in China, and then it has a financial effect and it affected the whole world. So when you're investing, you should think global. And luckily for us, we have a lot of platforms in which you can invest in different financial classes across different countries. And again, don't limit your personal finance decision to the advice of your guardian or professional advice, on the basis that you have a lot of information at your fingertip, and so you'd need to do a little more research, to ask questions and do more research, because really when you do all this, it gives you a broader understanding and it enhances your personal finance. And then the idea of cut your coat according to your size, does it really apply to millennials? I think this question is pretty more subjective. Like, general advice people say, cut your coat according to your size, live by your means. But my opinion to it is, yeah, your means is expandable, it's flexible. When you say your means, meaning your resources, your income, you can expand it. So what you simply do is, once you want to live, you want to have the same set of accessories your friends are having, you do the extra work, you take more courses, you build yourself basically to expand your income, and so you'll be able to live the kind of life which you wish to live, similar to that of your peers if you wish. Next slide, please. Okay, so personal finance tips I'll give for millennials that are consistent with the characteristics of millennials. Do the math. The first thing you would want to do is have a good understanding of your assets and liabilities, have a stock of it. And so once you have a stock of your assets and liabilities, it informs you on the pattern of your income and your expenditures. And so once you have an idea of what your asset is, what your liability is, it gives you an idea of what comes in as your income and what you spend on. And then you have to ask yourself, do you need to restructure your finances? Talk of do you need a career shift? What you need to do? Do you need to switch businesses? Do you need to do an extra hustle? So the main idea we take out from this is, you don't want to keep any item which is not a basic necessity for life and it doesn't add any value to you. When I mean value, I mean it can be emotional value, it can be financial value, long-term, short-term value. Next slide, please. Okay, a little more tip that applies to millennials is regarding personal finances. Once you have make short-term and long-term goals. When you make short-term and long-term goals, tie them up with a budget. And when you make your budget, you will have to pretty much realistic, be disciplined. And a way that could help with your budget is when you automate them. When you automate your budget, say you tell your banker, for example, once certain amount of money comes in, you allocate them to different accounts. This should be transferred to this and this should be transferred to that. And again, when you do your budget, you use percentages, particularly for individuals who their income is not static, it's fluctuating. And so when you use percentages, you receive a certain amount this month, a certain amount next month, a certain percentage of income, it's meant for transport expense, it's meant for rent expense. It helps you split them up pretty much easily. Next slide, please. Okay, more tips on personal finance for millennials is always have emergency funds, because really life is full of contingencies and precautionary expenses can always come up. Talk of job loss, car repairs or medical emergencies, home fixes. And for us here in Nigeria, we know there's always one or two persons calling you from home. We need money for this, we need money for that, and miscellaneous generally. And again, the normal thing we call the rainy days. We don't expect life to be smooth entirely. There are always rainy days, and then you also need to keep emergency fund for purpose of, say, frictional job lags, the period in which you leave one job to get another job. You would need to be spending by that period. So these are reasons why emergency fund are very necessary. You need to keep some funds aside for emergency fund. And most importantly, it is not too early to begin to think about your retirement. Why you need to think about retirement particularly is because you need to smoothen your consumption pattern, in the sense that when you are working and when you're not working, you want to make sure that your lifestyle, there's little or no change in your lifestyle. In Nigeria, there are situations where the lifestyle people live after they're working, in terms of retirement, it's pretty much lesser than what they live while they're working. So you want to smoothen that. If you need to reduce your consumption now, to smoothen your consumption, to smoothen your lifestyle in the long term, you need to save for retirement. And it's not enough to just save for retirement, because inflation is them up. You need to invest them, and pretty much long-term investments particularly. And there are a couple of investments suitable for retirement plan. Next slide, please. Thank you for listening.
Thank you very much for the presentation. It was a good one and it was just in time. I personally liked it. Okay, while we wait for the mentors to send in their grades, I'm going to give them 3 minutes to send in their grades. Okay, I'm going to give the mentors 3 minutes to send in their grades. Um, Next, we have Nora. Nora, I hope you are ready for us.
Yes, I am.
Okay. So, do you want me to?
Yes, please do.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm going to allow you prepare for the for your presentation while we wait for the mentors to send in Khalid's grade. So we'll give them like a couple of minutes so they can send in Khalid's grade.
All right.
Dewale, are you guys ready for us? Okay, Nora,
Yes, ma'am.
you can start.
Okay.
Come on. Just go in.
Good afternoon, everyone. Standing on the existing protocol, my name is Nora Uchena Osai. I'm a 300 level student of Ahmadu Bello University from Sociology Department. I'll be talking about entrepreneurship, a tool for improving personal finance. Next slide, please. Gone are the days where people go about looking for the so-called white-collar job. The problem now is those jobs aren't even available anymore. And as a result of that, people take up jobs that pay less than that which their qualification actually deserve. Today, entrepreneurship has become a savior. People dive into it for a means of survival, to improve their standard of living, to create wealth, not just for entrepreneurs alone, but for other individuals in the society and other related businesses. it brings up opportunity to make research, and importantly, the privilege and opportunity to solve individual problems. I can boldly tell you that entrepreneurship has actually become a primary source of survival as the so-called white collar job is a mess today in the society. Next slide, please. There are numerous ways through which we can actually go into entrepreneurship. They include, but are not limited to these. We have tutoring. Humans have been tutoring each other from the dawn of history. How else was the making of fire learned and passed on? So you see that there is a consistent need for a face-to-face attention, which has actually continued today. Tutoring is said to be one of the most important as it is a word of mouth business. And that's because it gives you an opportunity to sell your skills. Today, you see that a lot of people have creativity has increased in the world. Passion, lots of skills, untapped potentials. Fashion actually requires a sophisticated management skill. So with the right skill as a fashion designer, you have an opportunity not to worry about your income. Talking about photography, creating durable pictures with beautiful designs. Photography can be learned. It is something that can be acquired. All you need to do is get the right tutor, perfect the skills, get a camera, get a place where you can use as a studio, and there you go, making your money quietly. As of 2 years ago, I was wondering what I could do at a point where I became very broke. And I realized I had skills that were yet to be utilized. And so I decided to monetize my skills. I know how to cook, I know how to bake, I know how to create recipes. And trust me, this catering services has actually improved my personal finance. Rental services. Almost every Saturday, you hear of weddings here and there, birthday parties, lunch parties, and if there's anything as apology party as well, you can rent out chairs to these people, tables, fabrics that can be used to design or decorate the event center. All you need to do is buy these materials and make sure you're maintaining them, and they'll bring back good returns for you. Next slide. This entrepreneurship we're talking about, how can it improve personal finance? Next slide, please. Steady growth. As an entrepreneur, you have an unlimited potential income. Personally, I'm a caterer and my income rate or at a salary level, no one has the right to control the amount of money I make in a year. Therefore, the only limit to the money you're making as an entrepreneur is the value you provide to people. What am I trying to say? The more value you provide, the more money you make. And if you're making more money, you're going to be improving your finances. Next slide, please. Being an entrepreneur has actually given me the privilege to diversify my investment. That brings us to the question as to how diversified is your portfolio? It has given me an opportunity to buy assets, develop them, buy shares, buy bonds. As of 2 years ago, I couldn't just raise my head because I never rose to that level. But today there is a difference between who I am today and who I was then. So investment is one of the important things that entrepreneurship helps you to do. Next slide, please. Talking about expenses, you need to cut down your expenses to the bare minimum. I tell you what, if you take actions on purpose to actually clean up things and organize them, then I advise that you should make effort on purpose to cut down on your expenses. You need to know how much is going out. How much are you spending on family, on friends, on relatives? You need to set a spending limit for giving and create a budget where these resources can be allocated effectively. Next slide, please. Ability to control your fund. Yes, you need to understand your financial situation. You need to understand that, okay, this money, where is it going to? And where is this money coming from? As an entrepreneur, if you want to improve on your personal finance, then you need to track every income and every expenses. Recently, I got a progress report where I tracked down all my expenses because I realized that My expenses were going overboard. They were going way higher than what I was expected. And so having a progress report restricts you, from going overboard or over the estimated expenses. Next slide, please. When we talk about negative financial surprises, you need to create an emergency account. You see, this is one of the best decisions I ever made, and it's very important for you to make such a decision if you really want to improve your personal finance. We live in a society that is very superstitious, especially in Nigeria here. When you tell someone that this might happen to you just say, ah, God forbid, no, that can't happen to me. But it's the fact, these things happen. Nobody tells you when your car is going to break down or when you need to send money to your parents in the village. So emergency fund stands as a cushion that protects your long-term investment from short-term unexpected expenses. So having an emergency fund is the best decision that you can make that will help you improve your personal finance. Next slide, please. Oprah Winfrey said, and I quote, "Don't worry about being successful, but work toward being significant, and the success will naturally follow." You know, one of the reasons why I love this quote is because it creates a perspective. It has provided one, being significant. Now, I understand that everyone has a passion, everyone has a skill, everyone was born with a talent. Now, what is that thing that people need? You need to sell something. What is that value that you have to offer to people? Now, when you find out what value you can offer to people, trust me, money will naturally flow and success will continue to follow you pants down. Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you very much, Nora. That was a wonderful presentation. Thank you very much. And it was just right in time. Thank you very much. Okay, I'm going to give the mentors 3 minutes to collect Nora's results and Nora's grade and send it to Joelle. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Nora. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, Abib, you are the next presenter. After Abib, we have two more presenters after Abib, and then we announce the final grades. Okay, Abib, are you ready? Would you want to project your slides yourself, or you want me to help you project your slides?
Yeah, I'm ready and I'll present my slide myself.
Okay, all right, all right, all right. Give the mentors like 1 more minute for them to finalize Nora's score. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, Abib, your time starts now.
All right, I'm still trying to do my
Abib,
Yeah.
I can't hear you well, so probably you want to speak to the
All
speak.
right. I think it is important to say my slide.
What did you say?
It will share my slide.
Okay, you want me to share your slides?
Yes.
Okay, 1 minute. Okay, here we go. All right, your time
All right.
starts now.
All right. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Adibula Brother. I'm not the university. I will
I'm
talk to
sorry,
you about.
sorry. I can't hear you well. Can you speak closer to your mic? I can't hear you well.
All right. My name is Abdullah Sunday Abdulrazak, a penultimate student of Ahmadu Bello University, keen interest in finance. I'll be talking to you about investment, the proper way to personal finance amidst turbulent macroeconomics. Next slide. In our contemporary, every human being exists within an economy. No human being exists in an innovation, and human being behavior will be shaped by the condition of that economy. Budgeting, savings are very important components of personal finance. But this thing might be very challenging to keep track of amidst the turbulent macroeconomy. Investment is a way out to work is a way to work out and stated amidst the turbulent macroeconomy. I'll be showing you how in this presentation. The next slide. Let's look at the story of Sam, a student of Daytopia University who will be graduating by May 2021. After graduation, Sam wants to become a financial analyst. The next slide. Wants to become a financial analyst and he wants to write PSC level 1 exam, which will make him qualified and certified financial analyst. He secured PSC Asia funding, which cost $1,000, and the total cost for PSC level 1 exam is $1,250. Sam has a savings of 80,000 naira at the moment, and we are going to be going to the next slide. As at January 2020, Sam was awarded this scholarship, and he has the following expenses to cater for. The total expenses is 154,500.
Abib,
Then,
sorry. I can't hear you, and I won't want you to have low grades just because we can't hear you. Can you
all right,
speak closer to your mic so that we can hear you well?
I will just start now.
Okay.
So, the January 2020, when Sam was awarded the scholarship, the naira cost 360 naira at the parallel exchange window. Using the parallel exchange window, given the fact that if Sam is to convert his naira to dollar in bank, they give him a direct. So he has a total expenses of 164,500 to cover for. He has 84,000. He has 80,000 naira savings, and now he's having 84,500 naira cost to look for healthcare. So he adopted saving as a way out. Let's look at the outcome of the saving to the next slide. Within a space of 1 year and 2 months, Sam was able to save additional 90,000 naira to join the initial saving of 80,000 naira, making a total of 170,000 naira. And let's see the slide. Meaning if Sam is to say, no, you're going to further, you need to go back. So if Sam is to cover for, if Sam is to settle its expenses at the moment, you will be able to pay for all of it. But you need a space of a month and 2 years in order to be able to pay. Unfortunately, there is a difficulty considering the budget data.
Abib, Abib.
Yeah? Yes, I can
Yeah.
hear you.
You know what? Sorry. You're gonna have to come back and do this presentation again because the mentors are already complaining about your low voice that they can't hear you. So I'm going to call the next person to present. Probably you present last. You really want to present last. So probably you can fix your mic or something because we can't hear you. And you have a very wonderful slides already. I don't want you to lose marks just based on we can't hear you. You get?
All right.
Yeah. So I'll call in the next presenter to present. Then you fix your mic. Okay, I'll call in the next presenter. We'll have Abib fix his mic, then he would come back and present. The next presenter is Ibrahim. Ibrahim, would you like to project your slides or you want me to help you project your slides? Ibrahim, can you hear me? Ibrahim. Hmm? Okay, we can't hear Ibrahim. Yeah, we can hear you now. Good afternoon. Would you like to project your slides or you want me to project your slides for you?
You can project it for me.
Okay, I'm just going to bring it up. Give me a minute.
Okay.
Okay, Ibrahim. Ibrahim, your time starts now.
Okay, thank you. Good afternoon. My name is Ibrahim Tajuddin, a sophomore student of Ahmadu Bello University, the Department of Economics. Imagine Agimba, a student of University of Lagos, living on a monthly stipend of 20,000 naira a month, but Gimba find it very difficult to manage his stipend. So it makes Gimba to live on debt because the result of exhausting his monthly stipend before the month runs out. So with this, what can we say about the level of awareness of Gimba's personal finance? So the next slide. So here is the scope of my presentation. So the next slide. So the first thing is, what is personal finance? So personal finance is a term that covers managing your money as well as saving and investing. I can also say it is about meeting personal financial goals. As well, it is an important skill that helps its possessor to sift good from bad advice and make smart decisions. At this point, I would like to equate personal finance to financial literacy because the two terms are synonymous to each other. So we have financial literacy as the act of acquiring set of skills and knowledge that allows an individual to make informed and effective decision with all their financial resources. So with this, we can see the link or the word, we can use it interchangeably, the word personal finance and financial literacy. So moving on to the next slide, which we have the rate of personal finance awareness in Nigeria. So according to statistics released by the Central Bank of Nigeria in the year 2010, so they said the rate of which Nigerians are excluded, financially excluded, we have the rate of 46.3%. So after that, they come up with a Maya declaration. And what the declaration is all about is they are trying to reduce this. Can you hear me? They are trying to reduce the percentage from this 46.3% to 20% by the year 2020. So what are the steps, what are the strategies employed by the CBN to improve the personal finance awareness in Nigeria? The first one is the incorporation of financial literacy as a subject in schools in Nigeria. So this has been, they try to include financial literacy in subject or course right from the primary level to the higher institution level. For example, in our school year, Ahmadu Bello University Zaria, so in 200 level, there is a course we take, we call it entrepreneurship, which is a must for all students to take irrespective of their department. So the second one is partnering with religious institutions. So we all know Nigerian, we are kind of religious. So, and our religious leaders have a greater impact on the congregation. So as a result, the CBN adopted this method using the clergy people to influence their congregation by organizing some programs through the religious institution. The next slide, please. So acts that depict the low level of personal finance awareness in Nigeria. So the first one is not having a budget, a goal, or a plan. A lot of students, we don't have a budget, or let me say few students have a budget. So we spend without budgeting our money. So as a result, before the month runs out, so we've exhausted our money. As a result, we are left with the option of going for loan. So the second one is connected to the first one, which is excessive spending. So when you don't have a budget, you spend excessively because you don't have a direction. So you just think, let me buy this, let me buy this. So the third one is not having emergency savings. It is a must for someone to have an emergency saving, that is to set aside part of your income or your stipend to meet up with the future contingencies. So as we have it, we have one of the motive of economics, according to one of the founder of macroeconomics, Keynes. So which he says, okay, the precautionary motive. So which setting aside a certain amount of your income in order to meet the future contingencies. The fourth one, we have living on debt, like I've stated or given the example of Gimba earlier. And the last one is borrowing for the wrong reasons. So this we can say as a result of, let's say, influence from the social media, as a result of demonstration and bandwagon effect. So the next slide, please. The next slide. So while personal finance, so the following is obtainable when the level of personal finance among students is high. So the first one, effective utilization of the available resources. So when the level of personal finance is high, students will be able to know, okay, at this particular point of time, this is what I need, these are my goals. So as a result, they will be able to know how to use their resources effectively. The other one is self-actualization. This second point is connected to the first point. If they are able to utilize their available resources, so there is this feeling of accomplishment in them that, okay, I've actualized this particular goal as a result of the effective utilization. Hence, we can say, okay, it increased the self-esteem in one. The third one is the actualization of one's career goal. So as the last speaker, the last session we had in Daytopia Mentoring, so one of the speakers said something on the 5 Ps. proper preparation prevents poor performance. So with this, if the level of personal finance is high at this level, it's going to build a solid foundation for actualizing a successful career goal. And the last one, it brings about economic development. I think this on a broader term, if a lot of students have a high level of personal finance awareness, so it's going to bring an economic development to the country, in the sense that they will know the part of their income to save, the part of their income to consume. And we know that our investment is tantamount to our consumption. If we don't have investment, there might not be consumption, and our consumption is related to our standard of living. So the next slide. So the main steps to achieving personal finance. So personal finance, like I've said earlier, is a skill. So we have to learn what personal finance is. So learning the skill to create a budget. The second one is the ability to track spending. And the last one is learning the techniques to pay off debts. So all these are the main steps to achieving personal finance. So in conclusion, I will leave you with a quote by Natasha Musan, which says, money, like emotions, is something you must control to keep your life on the right track. Thank you for listening.
Thank you very much, Ibrahim. Wonderful preparation. Wonderful preparation, presentation. Thank you very much. Okay, so I'm going to give the mentors 3 minutes to send in Ibrahim's grades and comments, and then we get to Abib too is not ready, so then we allow Abib to do his thing. All right, mentors, send in your grades.
All right. I think you should allow me to share the screen now.
Oh yeah, it's your sound is very good now. All right, give the mentors 2 minutes. Let them collate Ibrahim's grade, then you can start. I will tell you when to start. Thank you. Okay, Khalid, you can go ahead now. Thank you. Your time starts. Your time starts now. Okay, we can see it now. Abib, do you need me to help you share your screen?
Yeah, hello, can you hear me now?
Yes, we can. Yeah, it's fine now. All
All
right.
right. My name is Abibullah Abdurazak, a penultimate student of Ahmadu Bello University with keen interest in finance. This evening, I'll be talking to you on investing a proper way to personal finance amidst turbulent macroeconomics. The rationale behind this topic is that this is what is obtainable in the Nigeria of today. And as we all know, every human being does not exist in isolation. They exist within an economy. And that economy condition will determine their behavior to guide their decision-making process and all. Budgeting, saving are key components of personal finance, but these two can be very challenging to keep track of amidst a turbulent macroeconomics. Investing is a way to walk through a turbulent macroeconomics unscathed. I'll show you how in the presentation going forward. Let's look at the story of Sam, a final year undergraduate student in Daytopia University, which will graduate by May 2021. He wants to become a financial analyst after graduation, and he wants to write CFA Level 1 examination, which costs $1,250. He secured a partial funding, which covers $1,000. He has $250 and other expenses to keep track of. Sam has a savings of 80,000 naira. The following are the expenses Sam has to cover for, and he has a total expense of 164,500. At that time, as of January 2020, a dollar is 362 naira at the parallel market rate. Sam adopted savings as a way out. Let's look at Sam's savings after a year and few months. Sam was able to save additional 90,000 naira to the initial 80,000 naira to make a total of 170,000 naira. If Sam get hold of this 90,000 naira, that when he was awarded a scholarship, he will be able to pay for all he has to. He will be able to cover for all his expenses and even have some change left. But within a space of 1 year and few months, unfortunately, the Nigerian macroeconomics went through a turbulent moment. Macroeconomics in this presentation refer to those figures and data that tells the economic condition. And in this presentation, I'll be making reference to three major macroeconomics, which is the inflation rate, exchange rate, and unemployment rate. Within the space of 1 year, the inflation rate skyrocketed to 17.3% from 12.13%, while we have a naira moving from 362 naira at the parallel market rate to 485 naira within the space of 1 year and few months. The unemployment rate stood at 33.30%, limiting his chance of getting a job as at the moment. The expenses Sam has to cover for after a year and few months amount to 215,250 naira, given the increase in inflation and the changes in exchange rate. With the 90,000 naira he was able to save, in addition to the initial 80,000 naira, he has a total of 170,000 naira, meaning that amount of money could not cover for his total expenses. He has to look for additional 45,000 naira to 45,250 naira. Investing could have been a way out for Sam had it been considered investment in stock market. And I constructed a portfolio for Sam that if he had considered investing in immediately when he was awarded with the scholarship with his initial 80,000 naira, he will have scaled through and even have some changes left. I'll walk you through that. I'm providing two solutions for Sam. He should either invest in stock market or save his money with savings or investment fintech platform. Investment in stock. Let's assume Sam had considered investing his 80,000 naira equally across these four different stocks, that is embracing this portfolio in a space of 1 year for 2020, from January 2020 to December, he will have a return of 127,000 naira. Sorry, 127%. That is, it indicates a return of 101,000 naira, 101,600 naira, with the initial balance of 80,000, making 181,600. And he was able to save additional 90,000 naira. Summing this together, we have 271,600 naira, meaning he will be able to cover for his expenses and he will even have enough changes left to spend on something else. And likewise, if he had considered saving with this fintech platform, for example, Cowrywise that give an interest rate of 10% to 15% on whatever plan he choose with them, or Piggyvest that gives a moderate rate of 13%, this will have helped some edge inflation in a way. Although considering this alone, he will not be able to cater for all he needs, but at least he will hedge inflation. And if he had considered investing with them, investing in their dollar plans by considering Cowrywise dollar mutual funds or Piggyvest flex dollar plan, this will have assisted him in safeguarding his naira against devaluation. In conclusion, investment is a smart way to shield income and maintain a healthy personal finance. Amidst a turbulent macroeconomics, decision making could be hard, and working out unscathed could be difficult. But with investing, the person will be able to scale through and cover for all he has planned for. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Abib. That was a wonderful presentation. And I actually really loved your slides. It was really good. Okay, so I'm going to allow the mentors to send in their grades. We only have just one person left, so we are almost at the end. Thank you very much for every mentor that stayed to the end. Thank you very much for all the mentees that are also here. We are really, 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 really grateful. Okay, so please, mentors, can you send in your grades for Abib while Abdurrahman prepares for his presentation? Abdurrahman, 1 more minute. Just waiting for a couple of mentors to send in their grades. Thank you for your patience. Okay, you can go on, Abdurrahman. Your time starts now. Do you want me to project for you or you project yourself? Okay, perfect.
Hello, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Hello, are you hearing me?
Yeah, we can hear you perfectly.
Oh, okay. So I'm by name Abdurrahman Alfa, a penultimate student of Ahmadu Bello University studying business management. So today I'll be taking around my topic of the impact of investments and retirement plan. Basically, what made me choose this topic was because I normally used to look at the connection between people after being a workforce, being in the category of a workforce, and later on retirement. There you see people, the difference needs to be the margin needs to be much, where you see someone that was working and having a reasonable income, then later on after retirement it becomes something else. So definitely, so an investment simply involves the making of sacrifice in the presence with the hope of driving a future benefit. Definitely, investment is just like keeping money at a particular, just investing either in business or, and the most important categories of one of the key things here in investment is current sacrifice, because you have to just reduce your expenses so that you save. Because most people usually have these challenges of saying they don't have too much capital, they don't have much income, sorry, so they can't save. But the thing is always, if you can cut your expenses, then you always have something to save and you have a better future. So this, I will be taking this now. I'm talking about the types of investment. Investments are of different types. So the first one is bond. Bond is simply like you're lending a company your money in the sense that you get future benefits. While if you talk about equity stock is just like investing, having ownership of, and having fair ownership of a company where you buy stocks and you expect returns in future endeavors where you get returns. We talk also about mutual fund. Mutual fund are just like stock, but it's just like a pool of income where people like where there's a pool of income, and later on they invest it into, can also invest mutual fund into equity stocks. Then real estate. Real estate, so it came to my knowledge while doing this research that real estate is not just I had this idea of real estate is just like having an estate before, but not knowing that real estate also inculcates having a land, having a building where you also having a building where you sell, where you buying a land, owning a building where you rent, all in comprises of real estate. The other one is commodities. Commodities are categorized into soft and hard commodity, where soft commodities are just like gold, something that are extracted from the hard commodities are like, hard commodities are like gold, where you've been extracted, while soft are just like agricultural production. So we'll go into the benefit of investment. Investment is it has a lot of benefits. When you invest, you stay ahead of inflation, where when you invest today, your money will always appreciate, because and inflation is just like Nigeria, where we have 17, when before it was like 15 point something, 15.75 investment rate, and now we are at 17.33. 17.3% inflation rate. You see, so people that saved before, their benefits will have increased, money will have increased in benefit. So second one is investment will help you to build your wealth, in the sense that when you are investing, you have multiple stream of income. You have incomes from varieties of places, not from just your workforce or just being, so that you save for greener, you save for when you retire. The third one is also investment will help you will get you to retirement or retire early. in the sense that when you invest, just like from a book I read, The Rich Man and the Poor Dad, where he was also investing in real estate and later on he retired at 45. You could see this made him retire early and he was comfortable because he felt, you knew the importance of investment. The investment can also help you save on taxes. Investment is just like saying when you save money and you don't invest it, there is always something called withholding tax that banks always charge. But when you invest in fixed assets or you invest in stock, these are also like loopholes where you don't get to be taxed directly with your money. So investment we make investment to meet financial goals. Investment is just like when you have a target of buying like a car, then if you invest, you get to buy car with that. So my other point is, what is your plan for retirement? The basic thing is retirement is something that is inevitable. We can't work forever. So we just have to prepare for the retirement. So retirement is like preparing financially when you are too old to work, when you are too young to quit. It's just like you just have to, that's why there's a connection between investment and retirement. Because when you invest early and you invest before, when you're in the workforce, then you always have a better story to tell when you retire. Involves making decisions about how well you want to live when you still have the means to craft how you are or how you want to live. It's not like when you retire, then you always have to be occupied, you don't have time for yourself. But when you plan through investment towards retirement, then you always have something to do, and you have during those your leisure time, you have income to spend and you do things, travel around where you have not been before. So investment is a very good thing. So important of having retirement benefit. An average lifespan continues to rise. Expectancy has always, if you look at before, let's concern before, let's say 10 years back, the way people will live comfortably is not like because of the issue of inflation rate, interest rate, and the high cost of living. So things get high, but if you invest, you always have something to move towards again, to move to something to enjoy where you retire. So retirement, you can't work forever. This is another good point also. Work, just like in Nigeria, we have for 60 years working life, 60 years age for retirement, where you work for 35 years. So you see, you always have a margin, a gap where you just have to program yourself so that you get ready, you plan towards the retirement, so that after you are working, you don't just depend on your pension or your gratuity or something before you start investing. Little you have, you better, it's preferable you start investing in anything. So retirement is the best time to check off your bucket list. It's just like when you have a dream of traveling to Dubai. Then when you are working, maybe you're working in Nigeria, you don't have something to, you don't have you don't have the time to travel to Dubai. But when you plan and save towards your retirement, then you always have something to, you use the money then and your time to enjoy life. It won't be like a sorrow time for you. Then your future may have more financial obstacle than your past and your present. So you can't always predict the future. So you just have to invest. You just only don't have, you mustn't spend all your income, and you mustn't you have to just be prudent towards investing so that you have a future. Just like saying you have an emergency income, where emergency like savings, emergency savings, where you save money towards your retirement plan. So let me just guess. So I will leave you with this. There are a lot of concentration says that the elevator to success is out of order, but the stairs is always open. It's just like saying the elevator can always, the road to success is very tricky, and it's something that it's not predictable, but it's something that can be planned. So when you plan towards investing, then I promise you have something to enjoy during your retirement. I leave you with it, and this is also one of my best quotes again is, life is like a riding bicycle. You keep your balance. To keep your balance, you must just keep moving. So I encourage you to keep investing and to enjoy your retirement time. Thank you for listening. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much, Abdurrahman. Your presentation was just in time and was a good one. Thank you very much for taking your time to be here today. Okay, while we wait for mentors to send in their grades for Abdurrahman, is the last presenter for the day. Um, do we have any mentor who would like to give a general comment, or like a general comment on today's presentation? Please, can we have, and do we have anyone who would like to give a general comment? Or will have any mentee who will also like to say something about today's presentation?
Yeah, I can say something.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, guys, I'm very, very, very excited and super proud of all of you guys for your presentations. I actually spent 2 hours plus listening to you guys while trying to take care of my baby as well. So you guys kept me engaged through the time. And I thought your presentations were really good. There was some negative feedbacks, but I'm sure you understand there's room for improvement. And I'm sure some of the feedback that we've given you guys will take it seriously and also use it for your personal life and also for your academic studies as well. But just general thoughts though, I thought you guys done very, very well. I appreciate the fact that you guys put effort into this. Obviously, this is not part of your course or whatever, but for you guys to actually take the time to invest your time to actually, do a presentation and come online and present to some people that will be giving you feedback, I thought, it's very courageous of you guys to do that. So it was a good presentation from all of you guys all around.
Thank you very much, AK. Do we have anyone who would also like to, read one?
Okay, thank you, Dr. Jumia. Quality of presentation that we got from everybody. I mean, there is a lot of improvement from the last time that we had some presentation. Looking at the slides, so many quality slides that I saw today. Delivery was the efforts and the research that you put into the slides and the presentation was good. So I'll just say well done to everybody. And then whatever feedback that we have provided is just is constructive and it's just to help you improve going forward. So I wish you guys all the best. Well done.
Thank you very much, Ridwan. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Anyone, do we have anyone who would like to say anything? Sarah, I know you want to say lots of things. Sarah. Come on, let's hear from Sarah.
Hi, everyone. Good afternoon, or good evening, rather. Okay, so the presentation so far they've been all really good. They've been quite engaging, and I like the fact that different, like mentees each had a topic, a specific topic to present on. It wasn't generic, and it's their topics also applied to like their reality, and some even use the scenario approach, even if it doesn't directly apply to their reality. So overall, it's been a very, very wonderful session. And well done to each and every one of you. I know it's not easy putting this together. I trust some of you had other engagements like exams and studies and other things. But yeah, well done to everyone. And I wish you all the best.
Thank you very much, Sarah. Thank you very much.
Welcome.
Adetayo Julius, do you want to add or say anything? Okay, Dewale, are you ready with the results? If you are ready, we are ready for you.
Hello, everyone. Good evening. First of all, I think the mentor said it already. I've seen beautiful slides, presentations, confidence over the roof. You guys really did a great job today. And understandably, you guys had other commitments, like Sarah just said, and you guys were still able to pull this off, which is to be very humbling. So I want to thank all the participants today. Thank you very much for presenting and doing a great job. I saw a lot of research. I saw a lot. We have a lot of comments, and I've gathered all the comments. We'll be sending the comments to individual participants eventually. But yeah, quite most of them are really good comments because people were very impressed. Our mentors were very impressed with it. I mean, I'm just saying it. I didn't even expect this much quality because a lot of you even put some personal experience into it, so personal touches, from different angles, perspectives, which I feel was really, really good. I'm looking at the result right here, and it is very, very tight, I must say. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to announce the results. I'm going to tell you your strength and weaknesses. That's the. I'm going to tell you where you got your lowest score and where you got your highest score. But the rest of the feedback, we'll be sending you emails individually. So we can just let the mentors, we can let everybody go to do other things today. Okay. So, okay, let me just say that before I start announcing, we have, like Dr. Jujumoke said, 2 were disqualified today. So we'll be taking out just 2 today. So we'll have 9 participants that are still going to go into the next phase. This is really difficult because the numbers are so very tight. I can see like 0.5. There's a difference between 2 participants that is just 0.5. So you guys really did a great job. Everybody did a great job. So even if you don't make it into the next round, just know that you did a great job, and you can just take the feedback with you and improve on your skills, presentation skills. And even if you've qualified, obviously you can use that those feedback to even better yourself for the next phases. So I'm going to announce the scores, and just give me 1 second. Okay. So I'll start with the first presenter, Asiya. Asiya got 190.5. Your strength is your delivery and confidence. You got the highest there, and your weakness is your audience engagement. So 190.5. The second presenter got 172.5. That's James. Your strength is CS. That's content and structure. You had a good structure, but there was a lack of audience engagement. So that was where you got your lowest score. The next will be Sheriff, 162.5. It was well researched. You have your strength at content and structure because it was well researched. But on the audience engagement as well, and your timing. Musa got 232.5. Strengths, presentation slides, weakness, audience engagement. Lukman, 212.5. The presentation slides were the strengths. The weakness was the audience engagement. Seems like the audience engagement seems to be where everybody got the lowest. Okay, Asana, 189.5. The weakness was DC. That's delivery and confidence. Oh, sorry, the strength rather was DC, delivery and confidence, and your presentation slides as well. While audience engagement was the weakness. Khalid got 189. Your strength was content, while where you got your lowest score was still audience and engagement. Nora got a total of 220, and your strength was delivery, while where you got your lowest was audience engagement. Abib was 216. Your strength was delivery as well and confidence, while you got your lowest at your presentation slides. And Ibrahim was 190.5. Your strength was delivery and confidence, while your lowest was the presentation slides. So like I said, we have just 2 people going out, and we'll have 9 participants coming back for next week presentation. So those 2, the 2 lowest. So the 2.
Okay,
Can everyone hear me?
Before you give us the lowest, is this Abib or Lukman? He has a question. Can we have your question, please?
Okay, yeah, it's Khalid.
Okay, sorry, Khalid.
Okay, I noticed from the feedback given by Dr. Yusuf, almost everyone's weak point is audience engagement. So I would like specific recommendations on how to pull the audience in a presentation, particularly this kind of presentation. Thanks.
Okay. I'm going to call on Sarah to shed more light on that. Sarah, did you hear the question? How can they improve on audience engagement?
Okay, thanks, Jimmy, for that. I didn't hear it initially. So, how they can improve on audience engagement? I believe you have to design, or when speaking, your presentation should be in a way that will question the audience, like, what do you think this point is about, or a definition. And before you get to speak about it, you could just hint to the audience to seek to like make an input on the presentation. Like, for instance, you could say, what do you think is personal finance? Can someone tell us what personal finance is, like a volunteer or someone? Just give the audience some time to respond to what you're saying, so that way you get to know that, okay, someone is actually listening to your presentation. And if no one responds to it, that's fine and good. At least you give the audience a chance to be a part of a presentation, to engage in your presentation. It shouldn't just be one person talking throughout, to be honest. Just like in the contest rules and regulations, which had a section that said is a presentation, not a lecture. So a presentation can be two-way. It can be the audience also giving feedback while you're presenting or answering a question. So yeah, that's one of the way you could make your audience engaged in your presentation. You could ask a question to the audience and then someone responds. Yeah, that's it from me in terms of audience engagement.
Thank you very much, Sarah. AK, could you also let the mentees know what can they do to improve their audience engagement?
Yeah, I think as Sarah said, asking questions is a very key way to do that. But I'd noticed some people while they were presenting, they had their video on. I think if you had your video on as well, it would be a good way to kind of you can't really see anybody, but you can, by looking at the screen, you're providing some sort of engagement, and eye contact is a very important one as well that, you could have used as an alternative. And also the way you follow your slide as well, it provides a good engagement, so that if someone is reading your slide while you're speaking, they can follow what you're saying basically. And I don't think I saw a lot of that, to be fair. So that's part of the reason why engagement was quite low.
Thank you very much. Ridwan, briefly, how do you think participants can increase their audience engagement score for the next stage?
Okay, thank you, Jimmy, for the question. So I think basically for this kind of to be fair to them, maybe because of the time that was allotted to them and a lot of them didn't get a chance to ask the question, or they feel that maybe maybe they won't get the best of reaction because they were under pressure for time. But again, if you are doing your presentation, you need to factor all that in. You need to know the medium of your presentation, and then you can see how you can build it, how you can engage the audience. So I mean, a quick question or a quick confirmation of whatever you have said or could have helped the audience. So, but I that's a lot of this feedback to if you are giving a presentation, you need to know the medium of presentation and see how you can inculcate your engagement. So that would be my feedback on that.
Thank you very much, Ridwan. Thank you so much. Like I said, also, if during your preparation, if you have any need to contact any mentor, they are always and readily available to help you out in any way. A lot of people sent me messages, which I actually gave them my 1 cent before they came here to present. And if you actually see it in these people's presentations, you can see that they actually came out to do well. There is nothing wrong in you sending a mentor a message just to tell them that, okay, this is what you're thinking, what do you think about this and all that, especially when it comes to your topic. Some people were disqualified today just because of their topics, so it is very, very important that you speak to mentor. Okay, I'm going to ask Dewale to give us a first slide, Abdurrahman's score, and then let us know who is in and who is out.
Oh, sorry, I was me. Okay, sorry, I missed out Afa Abdurrahman. Okay, I'll just go on again because I missed out one. So we have Musa at 232.5. Next is Nora 220, and after Nora, Abib 216. Then we have Lukman 212. We have Asiya 190.5. We have Ibrahim on the same 190.5. We have Khalid 189. We have before Khalid, we have Asana 189.5. And then after Asana is Khalid 189. We have Alpha 182. Our first strength is presentation slides. And then the weakness, yet again, is audience engagement. And then we have, after Alpha is James 172.5, and then Sheriff 162.5. So we'll be having, unfortunately, James and Sheriff won't be going into the next phase. We'll be having the other 9 participants into the next in the next phase. But it was a really tight one. It was really good from everyone, to be honest. You guys really put a lot of effort in it. And I want to thank everyone. I want to thank the mentors as well for giving great feedbacks and taking their time to listen to these presentations. It was really fun today and exciting because to be honest, I learned a lot from all these presentation slides and the feedbacks as well. So thank you so much for today. James and Sheriff will get their feedbacks as well, and obviously we'll be with them to help them, better their skills as well. It's not really about the competition, but about the development. So we're all trying to learn and develop our communication skills, presentation skills, because these are the things that, aside just learning in school, in classes, these are the things that we actually need in real life situations. How do you communicate your ideas to people? How do you confidently say, explain your ideas? How do you confidently present a pitch to someone? Like people always, like they say, a lot of things are about marketing, a lot of things are about sharing your ideas. So if you can't confidently share your ideas, how can you win at life? So these are the things that we are hoping to develop amidst ourselves. So good job, guys, and I'll see you next week. Thank you so much for today. Thank you for the presentations. Well done, guys. You guys did a great job.
Okay, just before we go, I just wanted to say this. For the next week presentation, which is on motivation, I think it would be of advantage for people to send in their topics early, because there was a particular one of the presenters actually sent in our topic this morning, and the topic didn't meet the standard, so we had to let the person go. So you don't want that kind of situation whereby you already prepared a slide for a topic that is not, because apparently we have mentors dedicating their time, and we don't want people to just come and present just anything to them. So if you can try as much as possible, get your topics across as soon as possible, and then it will be easier for you to be sure that you're on the right track. Okay, thank you very much, guys.
Okay, sorry, just one more thing, guys. So congratulations to the 9 participants that are going to the next phase. I just thought to tell you that we'll give you data allowances for the next phase, or to just congratulate you. So Khalid will get to you, and Khalid, I'll text you after this, and then you can get to the 9 participants so that they can get their data allowance for the next phase as well. And you guys can start preparing as soon as possible for next phase. What's the next phase again? Is it okay? Motivation. So just like this one, I want to see creative slides. I want to see different perspectives, different ideas. That's what we want to see in the next phase as well. So thank you very much, guys. Have a lovely weekend.
Thank you, mentors. Thank you so much. Dr. Tunde, thank you, AK, Sarah, Ridwan, Adetayo, Julius. We really, really, really appreciate you for your time. We know that you guys are sacrificing a lot to be here, and we are so, 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 so grateful. Thank you very much, guys, for being here. Thank you so much. Have a nice weekend.
Thank you, everyone. Have a
Cheers.
nice
Thank you,
weekend.
guys. Enjoy your
Well
weekend.
done, everyone.
Thank you.